Hey everyone, Yoiston here with another Clash of Pantheons video for you all. This one was requested in the comments section of my Odin vs. Zeus video. Today we've got Thor of Norse versus Aries of Greek, god of strength and thunder versus the god of war. Let's look at all of their different aspects in lore and mythology, and let's get into it. So first off, we'll start with a bit of their context, some of their story, and then we'll line up the different categories against each other and just see who would come out on top based on what we know of these incredible mythological figures. So first off, with rise to power. Thor is obviously Odin's son, as well as the son of the earth goddess and giantess Jord. From youth, he was the protector of gods and mankind alike. He was seen as the strongest of the Norse pantheon, and ultimately protected Asgard with his hammer Mjolnir. He has his strength from sheer will and unmatched physical might. As for Aries, he is the son of Zeus and Hera, and he's born into Olympus, but he's not really respected super heavily by the other gods, or even by too many people amongst the Greek worshippers, amongst mankind, really. His power in combat and war is forged on the battlefield, and he isn't really the strategist that his half-sister Athena is. He embodies more of the chaos and bloodlust part of war and battle, sometimes not even really having a clear goal in mind other than just to fight, as we see in the Trojan War and so forth. He's not trustworthy, usually just follows that chaos. As for the positions of these two, Thor is seen as, again, one of the main gods of the Aesir. He's the defender of Asgard, he's the god of thunder, storms, and strength. He is beloved by humanity, feared by the giants, and we'll get into that in a bit, but even though he is part giant himself, he also kills many giants. Ares is the Greek god of war, but again, not of strategy, and he embodies that brutal, bloody sort of conflictual nature. Now let's talk more about their personalities and moralities. Thor is seen as brash, prideful, but he fights to protect the gods, right? He abides by his oath to do so. And pretty much wherever Odin commands him to go is where he goes and what he does. Now, he usually uses rage and, again, just this sense of brute strength in protecting the gods. As for Ares, he actually doesn't really have much of a code. He thrives on chaos and conflict. He is actually, as we see with Aphrodite, he's the homewrecker, as Hephaestus gets cheated on by Aphrodite with Ares. And he certainly doesn't fight for justice, and he just fights for the sake of it. Oftentimes he is just this, again, bloodlust-driven warrior who really doesn't fight with much honor. Unchecked, self-indulgent. Granted, Ares often inspired warriors and soldiers and so forth, so I won't say he was without any purpose or direction, but certainly as far as how we see honor and morality and so forth, Ares is quite far from it. As for their weapons and powers, Thor wields Mjolnir, the most truly popular and iconic hammer in mythology, and such a weapon is capable of shattering mountains, summoning storms, and it serves as much a symbol of protection as it does destruction, always returning to the hand of its wielder, Thor. As for Ares, he doesn't have really named weapons. Sometimes it seems he uses a spear or sword, or is depicted with a battle axe. Sometimes he rides in on chariots or horseback, and usually has some golden armor. However, and I will include them since it's so central to how Ares is depicted, he always has the company of his two sons, Deimos, the god of fear, and Phobos, the god of terror. As for past conflicts and battles, we have Thor and his many feats, such as eventually slaying Jormungandr in Ragnarok before dying himself, but also in his past he has duels with giants and raids that slew many giants. He's definitely got a lot of past battles to his name. As for Ares, he fought in the Trojan War. He often clashed with Heracles, and even was once bested and imprisoned by two mortal giants. And granted, we should take this into consideration too here. Ares, honestly, in many of his stories, he is bested by many champions. Sometimes he does win, sure, and sometimes he even does slay his enemy. He does kill another unnamed giant, but he did lose to Heracles. He lost to Diomedes, who had the help of Athena during the Trojan War, but still. And it is also worth noting that as Ares helped Aphrodite cheat on Hephaestus, Hephaestus's invisible net caught and bound the god of war, and he could not get out and had to face his punishment, which was embarrassment in front of many of the other gods. We'll come back to all of this in a bit, because honestly it's quite telling. As for the pantheons behind them, if we had more of a holistic view of the armies and the others that they might command in combat, again, like I said in the Odin versus Thor video, we're talking about two of the most powerful pantheons in all of human mythology here, Norse and Greek, so it's really hard to balance that. However, I will say, in this case, Thor has more loyalty from the other gods in his pantheon than Ares does from his pantheon, from the Greek pantheon. So, again, Thor's heavily respected, Ares is not as much. So, if we did bring the pantheons and what and who and so forth would stand behind him, Thor does kind of win this out for sure. Alright, as for prophecy and fate, this is where Ares does win a little bit. Thor is fated to die at Ragnarok, and obviously the apples of Idun keep him young, but he still dies to one of the greatest monsters in mythology after killing it and falls to its venom. As for Ares, like the other gods of Olympus, he has no prophesized death, cannot die it seems. Granted though, again, we should remember that even then he often loses the conflicts he's a part of. So if we consider that as a part of his fate, he's always destined to really not always necessarily win. But if we count that as part of his fate, he's not always destined to win. Alright, so in classic versus videos, this is the part where we'll go down the list of many different aspects of this potential battle, and assign points to who would win each category. As for battle intelligence, I think this does go to Ares. He's definitely still a bloodlusting monster who lacks the strategy of his half-sister Athena, but he is more tactically minded, a bit more at least, than the brutal force of Thor. Again, he drives much of the soldier-warrior code of Greece. As for physical strength, Thor wins this by far. This is undisputed here. He lifted Jormungandr, he wrestled giants, broke mountains. He is insanely strong. As for combat ferocity, Thor also wins this one. Lightning, his hammer, and the rest. He fights like no other. He's the guardian of the Aesir. He just has this kind of intensity in combat that is unmatched. As for battle discipline and endurance, the discipline part might bring Thor down a bit, but honestly, by endurance, I would also give this to Thor by far. Now, Ares, he fights with this kind of wild bloodlust nature. Thor, he does fight to win, endure, and protect. Again, where he's lacking a little bit more of the intelligence and strategy and so forth, he's very forthright. He definitely is a seasoned warrior as well, and not just easily outsmarted in such a way, or easily worn down. As for their divine statuses, so Thor is in line after Odin, and again is more respected by his pantheon, but Ares is a son of Zeus. Both are prominent in their pantheon. Again, it's worth remembering, though, that if one might win this, it might be Thor by a little bit, because Ares is less respected among his peers. I'll actually go ahead and switch this probably to Thor, because of that respect level from the rest of the pantheon. As for influence and legacy, also seems to be Thor. He is just a larger part of that pantheon and of the worship of Norse mythology than Ares is. He's a well-known part of Norse, whereas Ares is further down the ladder, for sure. Ares is also feared and not generally beloved by most of the people that know of him. As for fate and who wins in terms of, again, what they're prophesized or fated to do just generally, this goes to Ares. He, like the other Olympians, are immortal. Thor is fated to die by Jormungandr. Now, obviously, Jormungandr and Ares are not one and the same, but the fact that Thor is fated to die at all does say something. So, what do we have in conclusion? If these two fought, Ares, the god of war, never really outshines Thor, the god of thunder, by too much in what Thor's lacking, in tactics or intelligence. Sure, maybe Ares outshines him a little bit, but again, not by much, not like Athena maybe would. However, when Thor outshines Ares when it comes to endurance, strength, raw power, brutality, it's by quite a lot. I think Thor wins this. And again, the most telling aspect of this is Heracles. The fact that Heracles beat Ares and didn't just immediately lose to the god of war and so forth, I mean, yeah, Thor would definitely win this battle. So, my friends, thank you all so much for watching. Let me know your thoughts on this battle in the comments below. Hit that like button and share this with a friend to help the channel continue to grow. I hope you are enjoying these mythological battles, dives into lore, and all of that good stuff as we continue to explore the different stories and mythologies. My friends, thank you all so much for joining me on this adventure. Until the next one.